Hello and welcome to Run Steve Run. Today I'm here in the shores of Loch Lomond about to race up Scotland's southernmost Munro. It's a 13k course with over 3,000 feet elevation gain and heat that can boil the balls off a brass monkey, making it far beyond the park runs and 10ks that I'm used to. It's a race filled with experienced hill runners and ultramarathoners, so I may be a bit out of my depth today, but one thing's for sure, it's no one I'm going to forget anytime soon. Will I finish last? Will I finish at all? You can find out this week on Run Steve Run.
Woo! Right, have a good one.
Lots of excitement on the start line as we set off, and we begin in this forestry road that the race organisers have gained special permission for us to use. It means that for the first kilometre or so we'll have the road entirely to ourselves, but after that we'll be running on the tourist path, and on a gorgeous summer day like this it's going to be busy for sure. Our first obstacle is just coming up ahead. It's a cattle grid. I make sure to take my time. If I'm going to be lifted to hospital today, I want a better story than broken ankle on a cattle grid, but ideally we'll be able to avoid any trips in the helicopter. Given this is my first ever mountain race, my main goal today is just to survive it and try maybe to enjoy myself while I do it too. I did have two loose ambitions before setting off of not finishing last and finishing under 2 hours. Given this field is the badasses of Scottish hill running, I'm happy just to be here. If I do want to make it up and back in under 2 hours though, I'll be looking to roughly go 40 minutes to the halfway gate up the hill, and then another 40 minutes to the summit, so 120 in total, then another 40 minutes back to the bottom, as it'll be much quicker once gravity assist is switched on. Looking at the mountain as a whole, when we leave the first kilometre of very runnable forest road section that we're on, we'll turn into the woods, and that's where the real fun and games begins. It's roughly a kilometre of mixed terrain, some runnable paths, some technical rock hopping. Once we clear the trees, we're into consistently steep open hillside where we'll follow a rugged path of steps, stones and gravel for around 2 kilometres or so before the mountain mellows out for a wee bit and it becomes semi-runnable again for a short interlude before the steep ascent to the final ridge, which leads to the summit. After all that, there's just a small matter of running all the way back to the start on legs that are shakier than P. Diddy's moral compass. As we reach the end of the first kilometre, we're about to turn into the wooded section where we'll get the only shade for today. Note that there are 2 fellas standing at the entrance of the trail, but neither with marshal's vests on. That'll be important later. First kilometre was completed in just over 6.5 minutes, so great pace. If we can keep that up till the summit, it's very likely that we'll be in the lead. Pretty sure that plan has got no flaws in the logic, and that's exactly how it's going to go down. Let's wait and see. And getting a taste of some proper mountain running now as we've hit some tricky terrain. You can see as I look down and concentrating where I'm climbing, it's steep and technical at times. Keeping as good a pace as possible, but it's essentially a train of people through the woods now. Quite happy to just keep moving forward, no concern with the pace just yet, other than making sure that I don't go out too hard, too early. Overtaking at times through the woods here, but in no rush to blow up quite yet. Traditionally, I like to leave that to around the halfway mark. As we leave the trees, we now enter the open hillside of Ben Lomond. first wee taste of the view, and I can see right down to Loch Lomond from here after gaining the first couple of 100 metres of elevation. The gradient now becomes punishing and there'll be no respite for the calves and quads for a few kilometres, so I'll be forced to walk for now. It's made slightly more challenging by the fact I'm carrying more than I normally would, given the occasion. The mandatory equipment set by the organiser is a whistle, waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket, hat and gloves that I packed into my running vest this morning. The race organisers were obviously preparing for a more typical Scottish summer than we've been getting, but we've been surprised with some rare Scottish sun. Given the weather, we've been allowed to switch for waterproof trousers for factor 50, so they've been left at the start line. I've also got a litre of water, some Vaseline in case of chafing, an asthma inhaler, some plasters in case of blisters, and I've got 4 energy gels with me as well, although I should only need 2 or 3, as I had a traditional Scottish hill runner's breakfast, a roll and square sausage and a cup of coffee before the start. That's the second kilometre done anyway, in a time of 11 minutes and 25 seconds. So as it turns out, maintaining a pace of 6.5 minutes was unrealistic. Who'd have thunk it? At this point of the race, I'm concentrating on my phone and really in my own head thinking about how much I'm starting to feel like a burst ball. I'm not done by any means, but I'm kind of in my head thinking I'm shook out of that by this absolute legend of a cyclist that goes past. I nearly missed him. I suppose they call it mountain biking for a reason. I have literally no idea how he got that bike to the top of the mountain. He's either cycled over all these craggy boulders and steps, which seems like an impossible feat given the terrain, or he's pushed it all the way to the top, which might be even more unbelievable. I might just go and imagine that he's been dropped off by a helicopter, because it seems like the likeliest explanation given how brutal the last kilometre has been for me. I've actually set a new record by completing my slowest kilometre ever. Third kilometre was done in 17 minutes 24. Despite that, it has been a cracking race so far, and I've plenty of petrol left in the tank. I'm feeling a wee bit, but I'll get an energy gel in me and power on. Getting a fair bit up the mountain now. I'm going to turn round and have a look at the view that is getting a bit majestic, if I do say so myself. And then I'm going to turn back round and this marshal's going to kindly offer me a sweet, and I'll gladly oblige.
Oh, I have to treat myself.
Little did I know this wasn't any old marshal, this was a Run Steve Run legend.
Channel's Run Steve Run. What? No way, nice to meet you. Can't believe it.
Unbelievably, it's Lynn Cox, the runner who bested me in the home straight of the Came Hill race a few weeks ago.
Well, thank you very much. Cheers. What's the chances? I'll be back to beat you, don't worry.
After some friendly trash talk about a rematch that's mainly obscured by the wind, I carry on. That's me now past the halfway mark, which took me roughly 38 minutes to get to, which means I am just on target for my sub 2 hour goal. Things flatten out now and give my calves and quads a wee bit of an easier challenge for now. It's the calm before the storm though, as you can see what's to come appearing in front of me. The second steep part of Ben Lomond looks ominously like another mountain sitting on top of the other mountain that I've just climbed. Here comes a man who's already been up and down the second mountain though. It's race leader George Foster representing Keswick AC. Tremendous effort for him. I might not be as fast as him, but at least I'm a little quicker than kilometre 3 with a 15:25 for my 4th kilometre. you can see, the mountain path is rammed with runners and tourists today. Apparently it's against Scottish hill running regulations to shoulder bars them out of the way, which is a shame, so I'll politely make my way around them. I've managed to run substantially more of the last kilometre, finishing kilometre number 5 in 10:39. Definitely need to pick things up though if I'm going to reach the top in 1 hour and 20 minutes and stay on course with my 2 hour overall target. Now onto the final ridge and things are flattening out for the final time. Legs are burning now, really tired, but there is that sense that I'm near to the top and most of the hard work is done. It's an absolutely stunning place to run, which puts a wee spring in my step. 6 kilometre was a tough one though, with some really steep bits as I made my way up onto this final ridge. Took me 16 minutes and 3 seconds, so not a fast one, but I'm still feeling like I'm making good progress given the monumental challenge that I'm doing. As you can see, there's some really technical terrain at the top to make things a bit more interesting. Absolutely bursting to get to the summit now and enjoy the view for a brief moment before beginning my descent back to the bottom. And as we approach the very top, I take my hat off to cool me down. So I'm just holding the camera here. Lots of wind, but I'm still absolutely cooking. The marshal at the top will instruct me to go around the official summit marker to complete my ascent. And then I'm going to take just a few seconds to give you a sense of the tremendous view over Loch Lomond in the Trossachs National Park. Time to waste though, I'm going to do a quick change of my camera battery here. We reached the top in 1 hour and 21 minutes, meaning I'm very close to my target in 1 hour 20 minutes, and there's still a chance of completing the race in under 2 hours. I will need to get cracking. One thing I didn't consider before the start of the race was the change of perspective from uphill to downhill. On the way up, I've really not seen much than a few steps in front of me, bar a few spins to enjoy the view and check my progress. Don't want to get all soft and squishy here, but how lucky am I to live in such a bloody awesome country as Scotland. The view over Loch Lomond is truly next level. You'll notice I've turned off the mountain trail now, and I'm freestyling it over the tussocks. Not sure if the race rules allow this or if it's cheating, but I've saw everybody else going down this way, so it's either fine or I've just made a lot of enemies by grassing everybody in. Not sure how much time it actually saves me though, as at this point my legs are beginning to turn to mush and I have to take things very carefully on this uneven ground just to stay up. Need my kilometres on the way down to be in and around 7 minute mark, 7.5 minutes to achieve my sub 2 hour target. Unfortunately, I'm miles away from that with my 7th kilometre, which was 13 minutes and 37 seconds. That did involve me stopping at the top though. Time to crack on and make some good progress. I'm going to fast forward at quite a speed now for a few kilometres. Some folk have said that it gives them motion sickness when I fast forward too quickly, so if that's you, look away now. We don't want you pulling a jump earlier. And we can see all the way down to Lustfee here, which is actually where I got married almost exactly 2 years ago. If you're ever in the Loch Lomond area and you've never been before, certainly visit Lust. It's a very picturesque wee village. Some insider information: there's a church in the village, and just behind that church is a river. On the banks of that river, you'll get some of the best skipping stones you're ever likely to find.
Fine. Wee bit of cramp, but it's all good.
Oh, cramp setting in, that's a bit worrying.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And I'll stop to get some more sweets off Lynn on the way down.
Thank you. I'm not last, and that is the goal.
We've flown through kilometres 8, 9 and 10 there, averaging around 7.5 minutes per kilometre. Not quite what I need, and given my slow kilometre at the top, my sub 2 hour goal is beginning to slip out of my reach. Start to struggle quite a bit now as the cramp is appearing in my calves, a wee bit in my quads as well, but mainly the calves. Just trying to ride that knife edgy push as hard as I can, while slowing down before any paralysing cramp kicks in. Had to actually walk quite a few times to avoid the cramp, and I don't see it getting better from here. It's just about managing my body as it starts falling apart. On top of that, my left shoe has started to rub badly in my heel, and I've no water left, but I've only around 3 kilometres left to go, so just time to hang on now. Was hoping to be channeling my inner mountain goat at this point in the race, but right now all I've got is sweaty donkey mode. This is what I signed up for though, right on the limit of what my body can muster, and I'll keep pushing to the end. As we head back towards the trees, it's been a rough kilometre for me, finishing in 11 minutes 47. The steep craggy path has been very tricky to negotiate on legs that are now failing faster than the US economy. A wee political joke for you there, just to prove that I have got substance and it's no just cutaways to that scene of me puking out jump earlier. If you're interested to hear more of my classic Run Steve Run patter, remember to subscribe and smash the like button when you're there. Talking of getting smashed, my quads are feeling particularly humped in this section. Every step I take here feels like my legs could actually give way just out of sheer tiredness. And when it's on terrain like this, I'm forced to take things very cautiously. A trip now would be a disaster, but fortunately the path is easing off and it'll become flatter and less technical as we go. I remember running through the trees just ahead feeling very weird, almost a bit detached from reality. The pain in my legs was suddenly replaced by a kind of numbness, and I also felt a bit tingly in my head and seemed to be going deaf, with everything sounding like I was underwater. I'd later discover that some of that was due to like an air pressure change, I suppose, caused by elevation change. Because when I got to the bottom, my ears popped and the tingliness and the deafness went away. No something that I ever considered when running, but I suppose descending 3,000 feet at such a pace is something you'd only ever usually do in an aeroplane.
Just got to survive.
Coming down out the trees now to complete my 12 kilometre in 8:42, and I can honestly say I am totally frazzled. My shoes have rubbed a blister in my heel which is starting to bleed, and I'm running purely in fumes. The last thing I need now is for me to go and do something like I don't know, say, get lost?
Is it that way? Fuck. It was that way.
Well, if you remember, when I turned into the woods on the way up, there were two fellas ushering us into the woods. Well, on the way down, there's nothing here. On one hand, I feel pretty sure that this is the part that we turn onto the forest trail, but I'm also tired, sore, going deaf, and I've nobody to ask. There are a few tourists around, but they're not going to know where the race is. I also, on the other hand, feel pretty sure that there would have been a marshal here to stop people running straight through and into the next set of woods. So as I run along the road, I hesitate and think maybe I crossed the road on the way up through the woods, and maybe I've turned off too early. I tried to check GPS on my phone, but it's switched off for some reason, and it'll no switch on, which is awesome. So I turn back and think about going down through the woods. As I get back, though, I'm confused and totally unsure about turning into the woods. It does feel very familiar, and my gut starts to tell me that this is the right forestry road, so I turn and follow it, praying that it is. If it isn't, then I could be running into the middle of buttfuck nowhere with no phone or map on legs that are very close to complete failure. I stay positive though and try to tell myself it's a nice day, I'm not going to die probably, and I'll make a good video either way. And then a couple of 100 metres down the road and my camera stops working. Fuck! Fortunately, when I notice, I check my phone again, which manages to turn on and manages to record some footage that's nearly as shaky as my unstable legs. I start recording not a moment too soon though, because look where I am. It's a cattle grid, which can only mean one thing. This is the final corner. Let's watch me and my really dodgy footage across the finish line. Yay! Woo! It wasn't fast and it wasn't pretty, but I made it. And I finished in a time of 2 hours and 23 minutes 56 seconds, just squeaking into the top 102, managing 99th place. Didn't manage to make it under 2 hours, but was far from last place, and regardless, it's been one hell of an experience. I'm just glad to get to the finish after all that. At the time I felt a little disappointed with the time I finished in, but after speaking to the runner behind me, who's an experienced ultramarathon runner having completed races over 200 kilometres, she told me she found it tough today, and I'm reminded of the esteemed company that I'm running with. That's the race director there, Jamie, and the high vis. Big thanks to him and everybody else who helped to organise this race. Overall, I've loved the experience and would definitely do it again. Maybe no too soon though. Well done everybody. Congratulations, you were all faster than me. Never too tired for a bit of patter though. Well, that's us done for this week. I want to give a massive thanks to Alan McMillan, who came in 18th. He travelled to the start line with me and he gave me some salt tablets before the race, because I was underprepared. I'm sure that may have been crucial to helping me finish without helicopter assistance anyway. Also, congratulations on his 1 hour and 30 minute finish, which is tremendous. I'm now ready to go home and not be able to walk for a week. Next time, I will be trying something stupid in a different direction. I'll be racing against Scott Hare at the Land of Burns 10k in Ayr, having not eaten for 3 days because I'm going to water fast. I'm sure that'll all work out fine. Will I finally beat him? Will the comments be filled with disappointed rants about eating disorders? You can find out next time on Run Steve Run.